completed crocheting my backpack at this point, and look how beautiful it looks. Now, before I mention the total number of repetitions that I worked and so on, what I want to mention that in order for us to have the same, in order for you to have the same results over here, well, in Maria's pattern, she mentions that we need to change our colors in every 2 rows, and we do have to change the colors in every 2 rows. The only difference is that in the beginning, right over here, after the 2 rows that we worked around the base, work only 1 row, the first row of the repetitions with the same color, and from there on start changing colors in every 2 rows. Okay, because as I was going through the first rows that we were working together, I saw the picture from the pattern and I was like, well, my bag is not coming out with the same pattern. Okay, the pattern does not look the same. So this is what you have to do. After the first 2 rows that we work around the base, work the first row only of the repetitions with the same color, and from there on start changing colors after in every 2 rows. Okay, and then you're gonna see those nice ripples over here and the waves and everything coming out very nicely in our bag. Okay, so now what I did after the first 2 rows around the base, I have worked the I have repeated the pattern for a total of 3 times. So I repeated those 6 rows for a total of 3 times. Okay, and then in the 4th time that I repeated the pattern, I stopped at row 5. Okay, so I did the 6 rows for a total of 3 times, and in the 4th time I stopped at row 5. So the 5th row is after the 4th row where we straighten up the edges. Okay, and we work the 1 row of 1 single crochet in every stitch. That's the 5th row where I stopped. After the 5th row where I stopped, I worked a total of 2 rows, 2 extra rows with 90 single crochet. Okay, so repeat the pattern a total of 3 times. Okay, those 6 rows. In the 4th time that you repeat, stop at row 5. Okay, so after the row, so what we really have is after the row where we collect the stitches, you know, where we work the 3 triple crochet together to straighten up the edges, I have a total of 3 rows of single crochet after that. The 1 row is with the same color as the previous one, and I have 2 rows with the new color. Okay, so now after we do all those steps, after the slip stitch, chain 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now those 4 chains count as a double crochet and a chain 1 space. What we're going to do is we're going to turn our project, and I'm going to skip the first single crochet because I have the chain 1, and put your hook in the 2nd stitch and work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, put your hook in the 2nd one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, put your hook in the 2nd one and work 1 double crochet. So keep repeating those steps all around. Once I reach the end, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have completed crocheting all around, and this is what we have as a result. Okay, now right here after the last double crochet that you're going to make, chain 1 and work a slip stitch in the 3rd chain, counting from the bottom to the top. Okay, slip stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, now in this row we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, starting from the 1st stitch, which is the 1st chain over here, and we're going to be crocheting in the chains, not under them, to have a nicer result. So put your hook in the chain and work 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the double crochet, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 single crochet on top of the double crochet. So keep working 1 single crochet in every stitch for a total of 90 single crochet all around. I have completed crocheting 1 single crochet all around, and look how nice, what a nice result it gives on my backpack. Okay, now put your hook in the first single crochet that we worked for this row and work a slip stitch, chain 1, and because I am on the good side of my project, okay, on the good side, on the outside, I'm not going to turn my work, and I'm going to keep crocheting in the same direction. So start crocheting from the first stitch, which is the same stitch that I just worked my slip stitch. So 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, next one, 4, so keep crocheting 1 single crochet all around again. I have completed crocheting the last row of single crochet. Now put your hook in the first stitch that we made for this row and work a slip stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to work the last row of our backpack, which is going to be a row with a crab stitch. The crab stitch is single crochet, with the only difference we work it backwards. So when we crochet, we always go to the left, okay? So when we work the crab stitch, we go to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook in the first stitch right over here, grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch carefully, and you have 2 loops which you're going to close together. Next stitch, put your hook in the single crochet, grab the yarn, pull it carefully through the stitch. We have 2 loops which we're going to close together. Okay, be careful when you do this step. Okay, put your hook in the next stitch, grab the yarn from the back and pull it carefully from the stitch. Now when you pull the yarn through the stitch, make sure it does not go through the loop that you already have on your hook. Okay, make sure you have 2 loops over here that you close together. Okay, next stitch, put your hook, grab the yarn from the back, pull through the stitch carefully. We have 2 loops which we're going to close together. And look what a beautiful result the crab stitch gives on our project. Keep working the crab stitch in every single stitch all around. Once I reach my last stitch right over here, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have completed working my crab stitch all around, and look what a beautiful result it gives in the end of my project. Okay, so now put your hook in this chain that you worked to begin the row with. Okay, so put your hook in the chain, grab the yarn and work a slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, and now you're going to weave in your end on the inside. Now what we have left is to see how to line our backpack, and we're going to see a part of an older video that I had made where I show how to line it, but I'm not showing step by step the lining. I have a pre-prepared lining, and we're just going to sew it on the top using the invisible seam. Then we're going to see how to crochet the cord around here and how to attach the zipper. We are all going to see this now, and we're going to work all those last steps off camera. Okay, now that we have finished all the steps, it's time to put together the backpack. Firstly, we're going to line the bag, and if you know how to line, just go ahead and line it. But because I do not know how to line, I buy these pre-prepared linings where it fits exactly in my bag. Okay, it has the pockets, it has everything. The only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sew right here on the top with the invisible seam to join. Okay, and I'm going to show you, after I explain everything, I'm going to show you a part from another video how I line my bags with this lining over here. Okay, once you have lined the bag, the next step is to create a cord with single crochet. what I have worked is a total of 100 chains, and on top of those 100 chains I have worked one single crochet in every chain, in every single chain across. Okay, 100 chains, and then you go ahead and work one single crochet in every chain across. Now when you finish crocheting your cord, we have to separate the stitches in which we're going to take the cord through. Now, what I need to have right here is a total of 21 centimeters on the one side and 21 centimeters on the back side in order to fit the zipper. But when I measure with my measuring tape, I have a total of 33 centimeters, okay? I have a total of 33 centimeters right over here. So I have 33 centimeters and I want to only have 21 centimeters left. So if you do 33 minus 21, the result is 12 centimeters. So I need to take away 12 centimeters from the front part and 12 centimeters from the back part so my zipper fits correctly. Now, if you do not want to adjust a zipper on your backpack, you can go ahead and crochet a lid. I'm going to have in the first comment the link for the video to crochet a lid, and also you're going to find it on the top right of the video. Okay, so now I need to take away 12 centimeters, so this means that I'm going to take away 6 centimeters on the one side and 6 centimeters on the other side, because I did 12 divided by 2 and the result is 6. Okay, so take your stitch marker and attach your first stitch marker right over here on the 6 centimeters. Measure from the other side as well, your 6 centimeters. Okay, and attach your stitch marker right over here. Okay, now turn your work on the other side as well. And go ahead and attach your stitch marker right on the stitch that aligns with the stitch marker in the back. So one here and one right over here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is from here to here that I have my stitch markers, I'm going to fold my backpack like this. But in order to stay like this, is the cord that I just made, it's going to help me to keep the backpack folded like that, so I can either adjust the lid or sew the zipper as I'm gonna do in the end. Okay, so turn. So what we're going to do, we are on the good side, and I know this because my links are on the back, so I'm on the good side of my bag. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see which two are the two center holes. Okay, so go from here to here, 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 to find the two center holes. Okay, so right here I'm going to start taking my cord. Go ahead and pull it through the first hole and take it out through the next one. Okay, in from the next hole, out through the next one. In through the next hole, out through the next one. Okay. Now I have reached the spot where I have my stitch marker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up until the stitch markers on both sides. Okay, And what you're going to do is you're going to take the cord and take it through and through from the front. Okay, to the back. And this will hold our backpack closed like this. Okay, now on the back side, keep pulling the cord through the one hole, out through the other one. Okay, keep doing that up until we reach this hole over here, in order to fold over here and do the same exact step as we did on this side. Okay, once I reach this hole, I'm going to turn my video back on. Okay, so I have reached my stitch marker, so again, go ahead and fold from the one stitch marker to the other. Okay, and take the cord through and through. Through here and here. Okay, so we closed the other side as well. So keep repeating up until you finish. And here we go. We completed attaching the cord, and now if you measure both sides, they will be 21 centimeters. If not, go ahead and redo all the steps all over again. Okay, so right here I have 21 centimeters. So now what I'm going to do is, since you have finished lining the bag, taking through the cord, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the back, and I know it's the back because I have the links over here. Okay, turn to the back, and we're going to take the zipper, which has already holes punched through, and this is the back because I have the bag handle over here. So take the zipper on the inside of the bag and go ahead and sew on the row right under the crab stitch, okay, with the same color yarn as we did the last rows. Go ahead and sew going from the front to the back and from the back to the front, okay. Once you sew the back piece on your backpack, go ahead and sew the front side the same exact way, okay. Open up your stitches a little bit. Okay. So put the zipper on the inside again and go ahead and sew the holes on your backpack right here under the row with the crab stitch. So once I finish sewing my zipper, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how our backpack looks completed. So first we line, then we do the cord, and lastly we attach the zipper on our backpack. Even if you crochet a lid, you're going to attach it in the end as we did over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish off camera. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to fit the lining in the backpack. And what I want to do is I want to be looking at the back. I want to have the back of the backpack over here, and I want to be seeing the pockets on the back of the backpack as well, okay, because we want the pockets to be on this side of your backpack. So take the lining and fit it in the backpack. I hope I'm doing it right. This is what I saw on other YouTube videos. This is how they were fitting their lining in the bag. And this is the first time I'm going to line a bag, and I'm kind of nervous. Okay, so once you have it fit correctly on your bag, what you're going to do, see, this pre-made one is kind of longer than what I want. So I'm going to fold it as much as I need, okay, up until the total length of the lining reaches under here the boxes that we have made over here, the fillet, to fit the cord that we tighten up in the end, okay? So you want to fold enough. If you buy this pre-made lining, you want to fold enough for it once you fit it in the bag to reach under here the fillet, and make sure you're tighten correctly on the side. See the schemes over here? So this is not fitted correctly. Okay, I'm gonna do it off camera, just want to show the process. So once this reaches under the squares over here, start to pin it on your work, and make sure we do not want to, as we go through, to pin the lining on the crochet project. Make sure you do not stretch out either the lining or your project, okay? Okay, next pin. Okay, so keep pinning your lining all around. Once I finish, I'm going to turn the video back on to see how to sew the lining on the bag using the invisible stitch. I have completed fitting the lining in my bag, and this is how it looks like. What I did, I put a few pins all around just to make sure that the lining is on the right place. And what I did is I took all the pins out, and I put a pin on the one side and a pin on the other side, and I took out the lining and I ironed it just to make sure that my edges over here are straight, to make it easier for me to sew on the bag. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you how to work the invisible stitch. Now, many of you know how to sew very well. This is my first time performing. This is my first time trying to sew something on a crochet project other than a pleats, which is very easy. So if you see any mistakes, please don't judge me, but I would be really happy for you to post comments under the video that would help me to better my sewing skills. Okay, so let's see how we're going to sew. I'm going to show a few steps and then we're going to work off camera. Okay, so what I want to do in order to work the invisible stitch, I'm going to take one of my pins out and I'm going to attach the yarn on my lining. So from the inside to the outside, bring your needle out right here in the corner that's made from the ironing. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, see how the thread is coming out at this point over here on the lining, on the same spot but on the backpack. Sew and take the needle out, just go a little over and take out the needle. Make sure your needle is not coming through the back, okay? We just want to grab the loops, the back loops over here, okay? And pull the thread, pull the needle. Now see at which point is coming out here on the bag, at the same spot but on the lining, up here on the corner, on the edge over here. Put your needle, okay, and take it further down, and now bring it out. Okay, now on the same spot that the thread is coming out from the lining, I want to go on the same spot on the back and put your needle in the back on the backpack and bring it further down and take it out. Okay. I'm going to take out this next pin. Now on the same spot where the thread is coming out from the backpack, on the same spot on the front, on the lining, put your needle, bring it further down and take it out. Okay, see how nice the lining looks on our backpack? This is the invisible stitch. How nice, you can't even tell that you're sewing by hand the lining on the backpack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sewing up until I finish off camera. So we are always going to be going from the lining to the bag. Again, from the bag to the lining, then back to the bag, back to the lining, and at the spot where the thread is coming out, you want to go on the back part and sew and bring out the needle. On the same spot where the thread is coming out on the backpack, put the needle in the lining and sew. Bring the yarn a little further down, and on the spot that the thread is coming out from the lining, go ahead and put the needle in the bag and sew. Bring the thread a little further down and keep sewing in that manner. Once I finish sewing, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how the lining looks completed, and then we're going to see how to crochet the cord, the tightening cord that we're going to attach on our backpack. I have completed sewing my lining all around, and see how nice it looks with the invisible stitch. Okay, all around. What I'm going to do now, right over here where I finished, I'm going to grab over here the end and tighten up a little bit, and I'm going to go right ahead on the inside of the lining over here, and I'm going to work a few knots to be sure that my work is secure. Okay, now that I worked a few knots, I'm going to bring my thread, take your needle and bring it out down here on the lining and cut the yarn. Okay, and we've completed lining. I have completed joining my backpack, and this is how it looks like. Let's start from the inside. And look how nice it looks with the lining on the inside. Okay, and with the invisible seam you can't see any of the yarn, and I've lined it right under the row with the double crochet that we made. Okay. The back. And see how I have sewn the zipper right on the row, right under the row with the crab stitch. Okay, the one side and the other. This is how it looks in the bottom. And now what we are left to do is to make two tassels to attach in the two ends of my cord that I crocheted. If you don't want to make the tassels, you can leave this step out of your backpack, okay, and just leave the cord as it is. So let's see how to create the tassels. Now we're going to create our tassel, and of course I'm going to use black cord because the cord that I made was black, okay, and I'm going to use my hairpin to make my tassel. Now what I usually forget to do when I work my tassels is to attach this piece of yarn from the one side to the other, which will help me not try to find the center of the loops that I'm going to wrap around in the end. Okay, so I'm gonna take my cord and I'm gonna wrap it a few times around the hairpin, because I don't want the tassel to be very thick, because I'm using the cord, and because it's kind of hard, it's gonna be hard to make your knots around your tassel in the end. So wrap it a few times around your hairpin. Okay, I'm going to cut down there. I'm going to release from the two sides the cord, and I'm going to make a knot as tight as possible up here. Okay, now I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to wrap it around down here. And I'm going to wrap it once or twice. So take the piece and wrap it around right over here. I'm going to do it one more time. And I'm going to make a knot. Now I'm going to take the tassel out of the hairpin and I'm going to cut the loops. Okay, make sure that you have cut all of your loops. Okay. Now, the one piece of cord from the knot that we made over here right over here. Okay, just cut it so it comes to the same length with the rest of the tassel. Now, once you have done these steps, make sure you burn all the ends, because your tassel is going to be destroyed if you don't do that. Okay, the ends are going to frog themselves. Okay, so once you have burned all of your ends, I'm going to finish burning off camera. Once you have burned all of your ends, now because when we make the knot, the one piece of cord goes on the top. If you can, go ahead and take it on the inside of the tassel with a crochet hook and bring it down. But because that's going to be kind of hard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a knot up here. I'm going to make a knot right over here on the top. Okay. And then I'm going to, I'm going to adjust it down here in the end. So take a crochet hook, take one of the pieces and take it through, and take the other two pieces of cord and make a knot. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to weave in those 3 ends right here on the loops of the single crochet, okay, on the cord that we have made. And then once I do that, go ahead and do your other tassel off camera in the same exact way. And once I finish weaving in all the ends, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how our backpack looks completed. I have completed adjusting my tassels, and this is how my cord looks like. Okay, I've burned all the ends. Now, in order to avoid trying to weave in the end all the way to the top, what I did is I brought in the pieces of yarn that I wanted to weave in on the same side, all of them, and I burned them and I stuck them right over here. Okay, and this is how our backpack looks completed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again. Bye bye.